Hello, hey there, and welcome to week 1 of my Gothtober reading vlogs. Today that I'm filming this, it is the 1st of October and we are coming to midday. So I'm going to film for this first week and we'll see what reading gets done, but rather excitingly I'm actually going on tour with an author for work. So I will not really be here in home for the first week, and I'm not sure how much footage I'm going to get because I shall be in professional mode rather than vlogging mode. But yes, today I'm going to Newcastle. The author I'm on tour with is Peter F. Hamilton. He's written this epic sci-fi space opera book called Exodus, and yeah, I work for Macmillan. I work on the tour UK list, so I work across horror, fantasy, sci-fi, romantasy and horror, and I work in publicity. So I have set up these events for him and we will be going back to back until Friday. So we have already gone on tour for some of the events and these are some of the other events that we're doing. So it's only a couple of days, but I'm very excited to go to Newcastle. I have not been there since Hannah's booktube meetup that she hosted. But I need to talk about books and what I will be reading. I did do a TBR video and as of day 1 I've stuck to it. So what I've read so far is the beginning of Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. I've actually read quite a bit of this morning while I was just in between getting ready and packing and doing stuff and checking a couple of emails, and I'm currently on page 117. Now this is not quite a long book. It's just shy of 200 pages long, and it's described as Ready or Not, the film, meets the menu, which I just thought was the perfect description. And now having read half of this book, I can say that that description is entirely correct and accurate. This is very much this book. And in this one, it's about this thrifty fashionista who is going with her boyfriend to meet his very rich family, and they go on holiday on a secluded island. But what she doesn't know is that they treat their staff terribly. Terribly is an understatement from what I've discovered that they do, and those staff have decided and chosen that night when she's over for dinner to revolt by murdering the family. Slowly and painfully, and that is exactly what is happening. This is not for the faint of heart. If you don't want body gore, if you don't want to hear about in detail about the ways that people are dying and being tortured before their death, this is not the book for you, but it is absolutely the book for me. It's what I would just like to call horror fun. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea of fun, but it is mine. I can visualize this as a film, and it is the perfect blend between the menu and Ready or Not. But the fact about this being a book is that it can go in more gore detail. It can tell you more things that they can't really show on screen, and it is doing that superbly. It is a bit nasty, like what's happening. It's creepy and terrible and awful, but I'm having a very good time. I'm thoroughly entertained, and it's just so satisfying seeing these people get revenge. One thing I would say is that I would really like if this book had started before it starts. So it starts when she meets this man, and he is terrible, and actually she's using him. She's not really dating him because she loves him, but I'll leave you to discover how she's using him. But I wish it started before, when we could have got to know the family a bit more, got to see some of the treacherous things they do, because even though these servants and the people who serve them are telling us why they're getting revenge and what the people have done to get revenge, I feel like I would have been more emotionally charged and more emotionally craving and satisfied when they get that revenge if I'd seen them commit some of the atrocities beforehand. I understand why the book does it the way that it does, but I also really would have appreciated if the book kind of gave us flashbacks or just somehow wove in, making us more emotionally connected to the people who are getting their revenge. We'll see how that goes, and then I'm not going to show it to you right now because I've already packed it away with all my stuff for this trip. But I also started reading The Unworthy by Agustina Bazterrica. This is her upcoming novel. This is the author of Tender is the Flesh, and this one comes in April 2025, I want to say. I'm reading a proof, so there's still a bit of a wait for some people. It's interesting so far. There's no synopsis on my proof, so I don't know if the synopsis is out, but what I will say It's set in a dystopian post-apocalyptic world set in the future. We haven't explored it too much. I'm only 20 pages in, mind you. And it's in this hyper-religious, or we are in this hyper-religious community. And it seems like a lot of their religious practices involve mutilating and physically punishing themselves in some way or form. It's really weird, it's really strange, I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely unsettling behaviour that I've witnessed so far by reading this book. And I'm going to hopefully read that one on the train to Newcastle, but realistically I'm probably going to be doing work emails because I'm still technically on the clock while travelling with an author. So those are the two books that I've started off my reading month with. They are both perfectly creepy horror reads and I'm excited to see what else we get done. Let's go to Newcastle. Hello, so we have made it to Newcastle. The trip was not the best. We were in a packed carriage, there was so much noise and so many people talking, but we got here and I did read along the way. But before I tell you what I read, let me show you the room. So this is what the room looks like. Lots of mirror space, nice big bed. We are literally right outside St. James Park. Place to sit, TV. I'm very happy with this station. I'm about to have a coffee now. I don't usually drink coffee, but I just need one, and eat these biscuits. Microwave, don't think I'll be using that. And then we have the bathroom, which looks like a nice shower, which is good. I'm happy. Let's talk about the books before I have a coffee and do some reading. Yes, so I didn't bring a camera stand with me, so a lot of these are going to be filmed with me like sitting in the floor talking to you guys, but on the train I did some emails, but I also broke it up with some reading. So Guillotine, it's going well, I'm continuing to enjoy it. I'm on page 183. I honestly, yeah, there's like there's quite a few chapters actually, but I've got 20 pages left to go. So I've got how much time? I've got 45 minutes before I need to meet Peter downstairs to go to the event. So can I read these 20 pages in 40 minutes? We will see, we will see. I'll do my very best, I think I can. So I'm gonna have my cup of coffee and read this and hopefully finish this, and then I will whiz off to the event, come back, and after dinner I will let you know my thoughts on this book. But while I was in the train, I also read some of the Unworthy by Agustina. I read some more. I'm on page 66 at the moment. How many pages does this have overall? 190. So I'm a third of the way through. That's what I want to say. I'm a third of the way through and it's really disturbing. I feel like I don't have more details to give you on what the plot is. It's just me watching these really unspeakable horrors be done on these women, and it's all done in the sake of this like hyper-religious fanaticism they have, and it's petrifying what they're doing to themselves but also what they're doing to each other. And we see glimpses of what life was like before, like what the apocalyptic situation was and what these characters have had to survive through to get to where they are now. And it sounds like truly terrible what they had to go through, but I'm just curious. I'm so curious. I just keep turning the pages as I'm slowly understanding the dystopian world that we are in after it, but it seems still like a small community, and I know that there's people outside of the community, and we kind of see what they do when people enter into the community and whether they accept them or not, or what they do for them to be accepted or not. And so I'm reading and I'm curious, but I'm also feeling faintly sick because what they do to each other is really disturbing and horrific. So my Gothtober is off to a good start with two very, very disturbing books for entirely different reasons. Right, so let me get in the frame in the right way. I'm just casually chilling on the bed. I've got 5 minutes until I need to meet my author, so I need to do this very quickly, but I finished reading Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. This was my first Delilah S. Dawson book and I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think it's a fun time. That's what I'm going to put it down to. If you want a fun, everybody's slowly getting murdered, everybody's slowly getting their revenge, everybody's slowly getting what they deserve with some commentary on classism thrown in, you're going to enjoy this one. And if you don't mind body gore and literal horror stuff, I had a really good fun time. I think it's a perfect read for this season, but also for like summer, if you want like a summery island horror feel. I definitely think it's giving Ready or Not meets the menu. Like that was the perfect description for this book. What I will say is that it is a bit surface level because you're not invested in these people getting their revenge quite as much as you could be if it was interspersed with flashbacks. That's my biggest quibble with it. So I think I don't always tell you what my rating of books are because I don't think a rating helps, but I do think here telling you that I gave it 4 stars is actually going to be very helpful because it's fun, it does what it needs to do, it does what it says it's going to do in the synopsis, and you're going to have a jolly good time reading it if it's within your genre. But you could have had a 5-star experience if you got those flashbacks in. And also at the end there's some questions about something in particular, and I wanted to know the answers to those questions, but not everybody did, and I was very upset. Not very upset, because it wasn't a big deal, it was kind of thrown in there at the end, but I would have liked to have known the answers to those questions, and I think by not giving us those answers to those questions, it did allow for things to be a little bit more surface level rather than diving deep. So a fun romp of a horror book, but could have done a bit more, but this is day 1 of the readathon and we have finished the first book and made headway into the second book. I did not expect that to happen, folks. So I'm having a really good time, and I will go out for dinner, which you probably won't see, and I will go to the event, which you probably will see. Hello, and we are in Edinburgh. Actually, we've been in Edinburgh for a while. It's just been that I haven't had time to record. So actually we are on the 3rd of October and I've already shown you toppings in the event that we did yesterday, and we did a little bit of walking around and I had delicious pasta. And I really couldn't choose between whether I wanted the ravioli or the carbonara, and the waiter was lovely and she was like, why don't you have both? We do half and halves here. So I did. I had a half and half and tried 2 different types of pasta and it was delicious. So that's what I've been up to. It's just been like wandering around Edinburgh, the bookshop event, and I'm a little bit sick, so I hope you don't hear it in my voice, but I do feel very blocked up at the moment. I feel like this happens every Gothtober. Yesterday was quite bad because while we were doing all the things and I was being a publicist and all that, I could feel myself burning up as we went different places, but I managed to push through. And yeah, I've been reading the Unworthy on the trains when we've had train trips. I'm now 50 pages from the end, so definitely getting there. One thing that I can tell you that I couldn't tell you before is that this is sapphic. I should have imagined that it would turn sapphic, especially as in this religious place where they are, apart from the he, the godly figure, they're all women. They're all women doing this to each other. And so I should have guessed that there might be something a little bit sapphic going on at some point, but I've reached that point where there is. I just still can't tell you what the plot of this book is, even though I've read so much of it. I can't tell you where it's going towards, I can't tell you where it's going to end. We've learned a bit more about what's brought about the end of the world, so we understand the dystopia situation and what's happened. The character is slowly piecing together bits of her past and how she's ended up there and why she's ended up there. I can't visualize or guess what the conclusions are going to be and how the character is going to finish this story, so I guess I have to read it and see. But this feels a lot more abstract horror to me than Tender as the Flesh was. Hello my friends, we made it to Leeds. Leeds, which is my last day outside of London for this week. I'm missing some of my sleep aids and I'm looking forward to being home, but we got one more event to do tonight. So we're in Leeds. I'm going to show you this hotel room because it's quite nice. Let's go, let's go. There's a chair. There's the bed that has my jacket draped over it because I just threw my stuff down. Here we got the wardrobe. I'm super impressed that they have an ironing board and an iron in there just in case you need them. And then in this one you've got your safe, you've got your hairdryer, but most importantly you've got your tea set thing which you can just pull right out. They had an arrangement of teas. I've already made one. I made a lemon and ginger to kind of heal me, hopefully. Yes, 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 yes. There's a TV there with like the long desk. I'm going to try not to show you the TV because it's got my full name on it. Not that you don't already know it because of my professional career. Here's the bathroom. It looks so nice. Hello, hello, hello. I used these soaps, hand wash, body lotion. It smells like jasmine and bergamot. I used them and my hands smell divine. So I'm very excited. Just the basics, to have my shower tonight. And I've never had a shower where the like whole back wall of that shower is mirror. There's a mirror here, and if you have the window open, if you have the door open, sorry, you can see yourself through there, and there's a mirror here. So you can literally see yourself from every single side if you want. But yeah, they've got like body lotion, shampoo, conditioner, all in the same scents as the hand wash for the toilet. So I'm very excited for my shower tonight once all the events and everything is over. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that I'm on the 11th floor. Look at that view. Look at that view of Leeds. Lovely. Alright, I love this. We've got a good view here. I'm sitting on a chair. I'm not even sitting on the floor. Fantastic. Let's have some tea and give you a Gothtober update. So, I told you when I finished Guillotine, which was my book for claustrophobic vibes, but on the train here I also finished another book which was The Unworthy by Agustina, Bazterrica, and this fulfills my prompt, so good it'll make you defy gravity. That is what I chose this for. I do not think it was so good that I actually would have defied gravity reading this. I do think I still prefer Tender as the Flesh, but that doesn't mean this is a bad book by any means. I have a feeling I'm going to need to sit on this one to think about my full thoughts on it because it is a very, very unique book. I don't think I've ever read anything quite like this, so my brain is processing it. I loved the atmosphere. It's unsettling the whole way through. The whole way through reading this book, you just feel not okay. There's something eerie, there's something strange, there's something weird going on, and she builds that atmosphere so very well. There was no time when I was reading this where I wasn't feeling a little bit queasy, a little bit unsure, a little bit disgusted. Whew, I don't know, you know? There was no clear plot to this one. Like, a plot does happen, as in a climax point happens where everything goes down, but I don't feel like I was satisfied by the outcome of the story. It's just too unanswered for me. So, I don't even know what I want to rate this book. Do I want to give it a 3-star? Do I want to give it a 4-star? I really don't know where I lie, and I could stop reading this book. Well, I will because I've finished it, but I could come back at the end of the month and be like, actually I loved it. Like, I just don't know how I feel, and I don't think talking about it for 4 minutes has helped me, so I'm sorry about that really inconclusive review. But I finished that on the train, and so I started my next read, which is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. I keep calling it Murderbot. That's not what it's called. That's the series. This singular first volume is called Murderbot, and it's about this robot who is supposed to be a robot that protects the humans that it's contracted to protect as they go on their missions. Usually not a lot happens, they protect the humans, that's it. But on this particular mission, something goes wrong. There's kind of a glitch in their suit and they gain sentience, they gain a personality, and all they want to do is really just like watch TV, watch entertainment channels, figure out who they are, be left alone. That's not happening. Instead, the mission that they're sent on, it's all going wrong. Something mysterious has happened and Murderbot has to figure it out and deal with it while also interacting with these humans when Murderbot really doesn't want to. They just want to sit down and watch their TV. I'm halfway. I'm already halfway. I've had a lot of train time lately because of travelling around for this tour, and I'm not loving it as much as I thought I might at the beginning. Everybody is hyped about this book, so I really thought I was just going to love it immediately. I'm enjoying all of the sci-fi elements to it, like how the robot works, what they're looking into, and of course something strange is happening and they need to investigate. I'm enjoying all of that. I'm just actually not enjoying Murderbot that much. Like, Murderbot just wants to be left alone, doesn't want to interact with humans, and I am an introvert, okay? But I can't relate, which is really strange as an introvert. So I'm feeling okay about this. I don't really like Murderbot as the main character that much. It's not that I dislike them, it's just that I'm not connected to them and I don't see things from their point of view that much. And I'm just feeling kind of mediocre about it. But the world and the plot I'm enjoying. So we'll see how it goes. With the second half, I might like it more then, but I'm going to head over to Waterstones now with my author. Hey, hello! It is the Saturday of the first week. I would love to say that I vlogged yesterday, but I did not. Alas, we left Leeds and we came down to London for Peter's last event, but our trains were cancelled. And as a publicist, that's quite stressful. It just means you need to find an alternative route. We ended up taking another route, which took 2 hours longer, and then that train was delayed, so we had to run to our first thing, which was an interview that Peter did with Forbidden Planet, which should hopefully be live on their channels or will be soon. And then we ran to Forbidden Planet because he was doing a signing event there, which went really well. The booksellers were really lovely there. And then I got home, and when I got home, I think you'll have seen, I started to watch the first episode of something horror based, because Simi's not here and Simi doesn't watch horror, so pretty much everything else I'm currently watching, I'm watching with Simi. So when Simi's not here, I watch horror, and I started Midnight Mass, that's what it's called. I missed Mike Flanagan. I love Mike Flanagan's stuff. There's still quite a lot of it I need to catch up on. And watching Midnight Mass episode 1, I haven't even finished episode 1 yet. I'm very slow with watching stuff. It was quite funny though, because I could just tell, I just met the actors. I was like, how do I know them? And then I realised the kids are the kids from the Midnight Club, which is also directed by Mike Flanagan. And then there's also characters from, or actors I should say, from The Haunting of Hill House in it too. So it just feels like a really weird mesh and mix of like people I know from different Mike Flanagan TV series being in this one. It's going to be one of those ones that's about like religion and horror, so it's going to be a religious horror. I don't really know what else to expect, but I'll let you know my thoughts shortly. My author was really lovely and he gave me a box of chocolates, so I ate chocolates and I had food yesterday, and that was it really. And my voice has started to go. It's going, it's still, I'm still able to use it, but it's definitely not my, I can tell my voice is not as strong as I usually have it. So I've been having a lot of lemon sip and a lot of tea. And I've been doing some reading. I've been doing a lot of reading because when I came home, I decided to treat myself. And the way I decided to treat myself was that I started like basically my most anticipated read of this year, which is Honeycut by Simone. So if you are new to this channel, I have been devouring Simone's books like no other this whole year. Like this whole year, it started last year in December and I just have not stopped reading her books. And although I don't include a book of hers in every single wrap up anymore, the truth is that I've been rereading her books like all the time, constantly. The way people read fanfic is how I've been reading her books. In fact, I reread a different book of hers last night. I don't count it in my reads for the year anymore. I don't put them in my wrap-ups because you'll just hear me talking about the same books again and again. But it's okay for me to talk about this one because it's something new, something that I haven't read before, and this is the sequel to Salt Kiss, which I absolutely adored and devoured earlier this year. This came out and oh my gosh, wait, I need to actually tell you what this book is about. This is a retelling series of the Tristan and Isolde myth. Because of that, there are things that you can expect. So you can expect there to be cheating. That's just how the legend originally goes. And you can expect there to be polyamory, probably, maybe. You know, Simone loves to do polyamory. We're probably going to see it. Now, I don't like books with cheating, okay? And I always think when people say like, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this in a book, they're always going to be like, but these are the exceptions. I've never found a book that focuses or has a lot of cheating in it that I've enjoyed, other than Mr. Loverman actually, so I guess that is an exception, but also I got a new exception because I'm having such a good time. And this series is a spin-off series to the American Queen series, and I won't spoil that series for you because that's one of my all-time favourites of hers, but characters, some characters that are an American Queen have appeared in this book. They had a whole conversation, made my heart so happy. I was like, wow, that's it. That's my week done. Don't need to do anything else. These characters have appeared in this book. But this book on its own, whew, it is sending me. It is steamy. It's so steamy. Her books, some of them include BDSM, and this series is one of them. Sometimes I put the book down like, did that just happen? Did they really just do that? Because oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's so steamy. And then I just really like these characters, and they're doing a lot of mind games. Like all of these characters, oh, I just can hear that I'm ill. All of these characters have their own motivations, their own things at stake, and they're not all double agents. There's one poor guy who's absolutely not a double agent, but most of them are double agents. And it's set in and around this sex club, and the political scheming that's happening behind all of the sex is quite fascinating, and I just love seeing the layers to the story that's being told and how kink fits into all of it, and it just keeps me on the edge of my seat because you never know what kind of steamy scene is going to come around the corner, but you'll also get to see the discreet ways that the characters are playing each other, and I think it's very clever, and it's wonderful, and there are things that happen in the prequel to this series that have like actually been hinted at and now are actually happening, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy reading this book, if you couldn't tell from everything that I've just said about it, and I'm only halfway through. And also I finished reading on the train All Systems Red by Martha Wells. Now I am a liar. Well, I'm not a liar because I did feel those things, but when I first checked in with you with this book, I was like, I don't really feeling it, I don't really know, and now I really enjoyed this. I had a very good time, so rest assured I'm here to feed into the hype like everybody else. I think the thing that made this very difficult for me to enjoy was the fact that Murderbot in the beginning has just gained sentience, and once they've gained sentience they start to develop their personality. So of course I wasn't feeling very plugged into them because they didn't have a personality. They were very one-track minded. Stay away from humans at all costs, don't let anybody around. I am trying to record. So they only had 1 or 2 goals in life, which is to watch stuff, keep away from the humans, and don't let anybody know about their hacked governor module. But over the course of the book, more of their personality develops and they become a bit more sassy, they start to feel emotions and they learn how to deal with their emotions a little bit more. And the plot actually picks up, like there is a threat in this book, in this planet where they are investigating, and they need to do something about this threat, and the reasons why the threat is there and what they can do against it becomes clearer and clearer as the book goes along, and there's actually a plot towards the second half as well. So as well as Murderbot getting a personality and also a plot kicking off, all of those things like coincided to make me enjoy this book a whole lot more. I also really liked the found family feeling to it. Once you get to know the secondary characters a bit more, ultimately, although I liked Murderbot, the humans that we meet in this one, especially Mensa, were my favourite things about this book. I loved her. Thought she was incredibly calm and smart and intelligent and like very considerate and loving of Murderbot's needs, and I don't think everybody was. So I had a really good time like getting to see that group of humans and how they interacted with Murderbot. I was definitely reading disability vibes into this from the fact that technically by having a hacked governor module, Murderbot has an invisible disability. It's also a robot, you know? Like, even though it's a novella, it felt like a complete story. It did its sci-fi world building well enough, and from the way that this ended, I feel like the second book is going to be quite distinctive and quite different for the reasons of how this book ended. And I'm curious to see if I'll like the second one as much or not, because I feel like even though this is an interlinked series, it's going to very much read like a set of standalones, which, you know, actually should draw me to it more as a standalone reader. But my favourite character was someone we know as like not Murderbot, a side character. So I don't know if they get to return. This was for the prompt of sentient inanimate object. Tonight we have a live show. We have the Kiss, Kill, Marry live show, which I will be joining shortly. Tomorrow, because I've got like someone coming over and stuff, I'm not going to have much time to sit and talk other than to close out the vlog in the evening. So I'm going to choose my tea now, and we will definitely do a tea tasting, because in this vlogs we try tea, we read books, we try tea. So I was hoping to finish this advent calendar by the end of the year, and then I fell into a vlogging slump. We're on number 9 out of 24, and we're just not going to finish this by the end of the year. That is okay. Oh, stay together, please. Stay together. We still got a lot more vlogs to go. Honey, Okay, what's behind door number 9? Oh, that sounds delicious. Yes, I'm so happy with the picks lately. So this is spiced winter red tea, and it says, what's special about this tea? And we've captured the best bits of winter in a cup: mulled wine and mistletoe, winter coats and rosy cheeks, log fires, happy cats and old movies on the telly, tea and warming spices, a blend of orange peel, cinnamon and cloves on a rooibos tea base. Ugh, perfect on a crisp frosty day or with brandy at bedtime. Drink responsibly. Oh, I will drink it responsibly. And on the box it says, did you know, by the mid-18th century, tea had overtaken gin to claim the title of Britain's favourite drink. Us Brits have been drinking tea since the mid-18th century more than gin. Alright, so what I particularly like about this tea is that I love a rooibos tea and I love cinnamon flavours, so those combinations are very good. But I've also had other Christmas teas where cloves come into the play, and I do think it makes it a really, really nice Christmassy feeling flavour. Even though it's not Christmas, it's spooky season, but you know what I mean. So I'm not feeling 100%, so what we're just going to do is we're going to try this tea, and I'm going to end this vlog here for the first week of Gothtober. We finished 3 books, we've made a good progress in the next one, which is Honeycut, which now I am 70 pages from the end of. I don't know if I could say, but I like the way it's discussing cheating. It's not just like, they're cheating, that really hurts me, but it's like, why have they started cheating? What has driven them to this, and what about Mark's history has like contributed to how he feels about the whole situation. So yeah, it's a very interesting one to read, but I'm loving it. I'm literally like kicking, squealing, saying bits out loud as I read it, loving it. Like, I just love Sarah Simone's books. I don't understand how they can be written as if she's writing them just for my reading taste. And oh my goodness, the steam. Excuse me. I'm still so ill. I'm not feeling 100%. I'm going to Croatia tomorrow. I'm going to my sister's this evening because she's closer to the airport that I need to be at ridiculous o'clock in the morning. So I think I'm just going to end this vlog here. I'm going to try this tea, and then we'll start the next vlog. And in the next vlog, I should have my final thoughts on Honeycut, and I'll actually start my next Gothtober reads. So let's try this tea. That's really good. I think anything tastes really good to me when it's like warm while I'm ill, but I will say this tastes more like a rooibos tea with orange flavours in it than I thought it would. I thought the flavour of the cloves and the cinnamon would come through a bit more, but it's definitely tasting to me like rooibos tea with a hint of orange. I will keep reading, keep drinking tea, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Please let me know in the comment section down below, what was the last scary film or scary book that you read? Like something a bit spooky, like what did you read? Or murdery, or dark desire-y. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!